Recording is on.
Please confirm that you can hear me. All right. So yesterday we talked about product operations and we saw what the discipline looks like and what is expected of the product operations team. And now it matters to us as product managers. So and I also gave an assignment on that, which I said we'll be submitting. Was it not today? Okay, no. I thought we were submitting it next week. But for the other one, that's the Tuesday assignments, we would be submitting that today. I believe we have our assignments ready. So today, I hope you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about MVP, which is the minimum viable product. We've skimmed through before during product delivery and validation when we're talking about the approaches. So we just briefly talked about it. So it's also important that we really understand everything that has to do with minimum viable products, because as products managers, we are going to be working more we're going to be working more with that in our product ecosystem. So it's very important that we understand what minimum viable product is and how we can proceed to have our own MVP for all our products. So that's why we're talking about it today again, rather than just looking at it under a topic. So now, like I always say, we've divided these already, and I believe we should have an idea of what it is. If not, we can still use our literary term, uh, bringing together what minimum is, then viable. Then we already know what product is. So, who is helping us to divide this before we proceed? So, you can just explain in the literary term. Anyone helping? Adedamola, Chika, and Tofumi has a bad voice. I hope she's getting better. You can also use the chat box anyways. Any idea? We've talked about MVP before now. So yeah, we should have an idea of what MVP is.
Sorry, ma, please what's the question?
Definition of MVP, whether in the
Mm,
product term or in our own literary term.
okay, in the product there, MVP is the um can be explained as the minimum features that we have to like get done before we release a product. Like the features that when users see, they know that okay, this product is actually complete. But it's now left to us to keep iterating the product. But MVP is like the minimum things that we have to do to the product to put it out to the public.
Okay, thank you very much. Adedamola. The first form of a product, okay. It's the simplest version of a product that delivers, okay. Thanks Adedamola, thanks Chika. You've all spoken well. So let's look at what MVP is now. Okay, let's go back to our slide. So it's the simplest form of a product version or the simplest version. Just look at how the name implies minimums, like smallest. It can be this. Minimum is like small. Viable is something that is visible, ability to succeed, something that is able to work. So your smallest version has to be feasible. Then you have the product. So go to the definition. What is MVP? An MVP is the simplest. That's why they call it minimum. Simplest version of a product that has just enough features to solve a core problem and collect feedback from real users. Now, uh, note the key terms. The the key terms there now. Simplest version, enough feature, solve core problems, then feedback, real users. So these are the basic words that you should understand that your MVP should have. So if your MVP has none of this, then it is not an MVP. So when you are talking about MVP, one, always know that your MVP has to be small. You are not supposed to build a full fledged product. So your MVP is usually small. That's one. And your MVP has enough feature. That enough feature is you cannot say because you are building the simplest version of a product that you are building the simplest version of a product now. Your core functionalities will not be there. Your core features will not be there. Important features will not be there. So it has to have that core feature, enough feature for it, like enough. Your MVP, you don't look at it like, oh, because it's the simplest version of your products, then all the features does not need to be there. Fine, but it should have enough feature. So bear it in mind. Simple. It should be simple. It should have enough feature. Then it should solve a core problem. You cannot introduce or you cannot want to launch a product, a banking product that allows customers to send money, and the send money feature is not there. That's the core functionality of that product. So it has to have that core feature, the core problem that you are trying to solve. It needs to solve it. So you don't leave your core problem like you're solving send money, then you end up leaving core feature, which is the send money. Now you end up doing a time top up instead of send money. It has loose, the product has started to fail even when it's not in the market yet. So for you to achieve success, your MVP needs to solve a core problem and collect feedback from customers. So whatever it is that you are building, in as much as with it, having the core features, having enough features, you should be able to get real feedback. That's feedback from real customers now. So if your MVP carries all of this, then you are good to go. So always note the key terms there. It's the simplest version of your product. It has the enough feature. It solves a core problem. And it solves enough problem. and you get feedback from real users, not robotics, not internal stakeholders, not from your QA, from real users. So that's what differentiates MVP from prototype. Now you can use your prototype in internally. You can test, do all of those things internally. But when you come to MVP is what the real users now, what they interact with. So always ensure that you are able to get feedback. So if your real users are interacting with this, then you should be able to get feedback from the real users. Now, in the simple from now, an MVP helps you to learn quickly if your idea works before spending time and money building everything. So that's why it's very important in your MVP that you should be able to collect feedback, because it is only when you're able to collect feedback that's when you can learn. And since MVP helps you to learn quickly, your feedback mechanism should be put in place. Always know that your MVP should have that way you can collect customers' feedback, whether it's via mail, whether it's via contact support, even if it has to be, you have to include that feature where you're able to get customers' feedback, because you building a product, launching a product or MVP into the market, and customers are not even able to like say, oh, this is how they feel about your product. This is their pain point. This is what they feel you can review and work on. So you should always work on that. Your MVP helps you to learn quickly. Note that. So you're able to know that this idea works, so this idea does not work. And if it doesn't work, you it will mitigate that what's it called? That effort and time and money, resources that you will use in building a full-fledged product. So once it doesn't work, you stop. You look at what is wrong. Rather than spending money building a full-fledged product, then you throw to the market and the market rejects it. That's why MVP is very, very important when it comes to product management. An MVP is the smallest version of a product. So now this is me defining MVP in a sentence. An MVP is the smallest version of a product that can be released to test if users find it useful. So anything that you're able to release that is very simple, the simplest form, so that user can test and you can find out from the users if the product is useful. That is your MVP. And as product manager, MVP is a very, very important concept that you need to work with. For all of your products, do not, especially in agile and scrum environment, do not build a full fledged product. MVP is very, very important. Do the simplest version first. Let it go to the market. From there, you learn, you iterate your improvements, and you keep shipping out versions frequently in order to inculcate all of this. So it saves you time, it saves you energy, because markets changes. So imagine you wasted time building a full product now, and the market pattern has changed, market trend has changed, customers interest has changed. What do you have to do? You now have to let go of that and start building another product, which will cost money, resources, and time, and you've even wasted the first one that you did. So it's very advisable that MVP as product manager should be something that we use for every product. MVP, always do the MVP first before you think of, oh, you want to start releasing other features. For your once you have your product idea, you have validated it, then let your MVP be specified that, oh, this is my MVP, this is what I'm looking at. Not like, oh, we want to have all the features. And yeah, looking at all of this definition of MVP, you're able to see the important terms, the essential ones. So if your MVP does not contain any of these, or if any of this is missing, then your MVP is not complete. So always ensure that all of these important context and terms are included in your MVP. That's the only success metric. That's the only metric you can use to measure how your MVP works, or how your MVP performs. So if it's simple, yeah, you're on the track, you're writing an MVP. If it has enough features to go live, then you're on the right track. If it's solving the core problem, you're on the right track. You're able to collect customers' feedback, then you're good to go. So that's that about MVP. Any question before I proceed? Okay, so why MVPs are important? Why is it that MVPs are those important? Can't we just do without them? So MVPs helps product team to test ideas with real users. So this is helping you to test your ideas, helping you to validate your ideas with real user, and that is why I mentioned that we mentioned MVP under validation approaches that you can use for your validation. So one of it is MVP. So MVP helps you to test that your idea with the real user rather than with yourself now, or with your internal stakeholders. So this is the MVP helping you to test or helping you to validate your idea with the real users. Another one is it reduces risks and wasted effort. So like I said earlier, instead of wasting time building a fully built product, a complete product, it saves you time. It saves you all of that time and resources to build quickly, to launch the market quickly. Another one is it reduces risks. Okay, sorry. Another one is it helps the product team to learn what users actually want. So with your MVP, you are able to learn. Remember that I said a good functionality of a good MVP is it should be able to collect feedback. So with your MVP, you are able to collect feedback. So it helps you to understand what the users really want, and that's why it's very important that you should be able to collect customers' feedback. So MVP helps you to understand what users really want. Another one there, it improves the product based on feedback. So yeah, based on the feedback that you get, you are able to improve the product. You're able to improve. So maybe this is how you do your own. But because you've built the MVP and launched the market, you're able to get feedback that what about you do is like this? What about you do like this? So it helps you, it really helps you to get that insight into how to build something uh useful, something that is needed in the market. So MVP is very, very important because you are using your new users to test. You are using them to validate. Yeah, I've built a product before whereby we use the real users to test the waters. Yeah. So each time we build, we demo to them and they chip in their what's it called? Their feedback that why not make it this? Even some things as a product manager, believe me, even as a founder, it's not everything. When you have a product idea, there are some things, some features that your product will have that will even enhance the product that will make a whole lot of sense that you might not even know. You might not even think of it. So that's why it's important that you build your MVP. So when you now build your MVP now, that's when you now start getting feedbacks. You start getting feedback, you start understanding what these users really want. For you, you think, okay, this is what they want. You put yourself outside the position of the user, but you're not the user. So when you do your MVP now, when you release your MVP, you now understand that this is what those people really want. And you're able to get feedback. And it's like, okay, what about you have this? I would say uh like 20%, like the particular product we built, 20% of what we added we built here. Features we needed to add were feedbacks that we got from users. Feedback. And in our head, we were not even thinking of that, like, oh, this feature would have been good. If we had done it like this, it would have been better. But because of the feedback we got, we were able to do that. And it even worked not just for that product, but across our other products. So that's why it's very, very important that you release your MVP, then you wait to get customers' feedback. Customers' feedback, it's just like, it's more of like brainstorming, but not brainstorming with your own internal team now. It's now with a real user, with external teams. So you get people that are brainy, you get people that they are not too intelligent, you get the ones that are intelligent. Like, it's a mix of all. They chip in their ideas, things that you're not even thinking in that direction. They'll tell you, oh, what about we do it like this? And before you know it, it works well. So that's why it's very important. Since as a product owner, as a product manager, you cannot think of all the features that a product should have. You might think of everything, but there are some other things that the real user will see that you're not seeing because you're not the user. But MVP gives that room where they're able to like chip in and say, oh, okay, what about we have something like this? What about we have something like that? So you're seeing from the user's lens now. And that's why MVP is very, very important. So instead of guessing, you build, you test, you learn, and you improve. That's basically the importance of MVP. You build, you test, you learn, and you improve. You implement, that's you deliver. You deliver to your users. Your users are the one testing now. You learn from their feedback and you improve by releasing another version to the market. It's as simple as that. That's why it's very, very important in product management ecosystem. So, what an MVP is and what an MVP is not. An MVP is simple, yeah. There's no dispute about that fact that an MVP is simple. It's not complex, it's not complicated, it's not difficult, it is not hard, it is not sophisticated. It is simple. You keep it short and simple. An MVP focuses on one main problem. So an MVP does not focus on hundred of problems. It doesn't focus on thousands of problems. It doesn't focus on two problems. Now you're building a banking app, a core banking app, okay, that allows people to send money. That future now, send money, that's your core problem that you're trying to solve. That's the main problem. Now there are some other minor problems too, like, okay, uh receiving money from other accounts using this product. Okay, airtime top up. Okay, bill payments. Okay, data subscription and other subscriptions. Those are other problems. But there is one main problem, which is ability to use that product to send money. That's the main problem. So when it comes to MVP, you cannot say you want to do a fintech app that allows people to send money, and in your MVP you are releasing airtime top up in addition to your MVP. It is no longer MVP. You are trying to build a full product. So it's focused on just one problem first. We don't uh we are not saying there are no other problems. We know that there are other problems aside that one main problem, but those ones can come later. Your MVP will always focus on that main problem. Okay, let's use Abraham's snap cook for instance. Ability to predict or to give recipes now, food recipes. That's the core problem. The core problem is the students are not, they are being indecisive when it comes to what they want to cook. Now you want the AI to be able to suggest recipes for them. That's the main problem that you're using the app or that you're using the product to solve. Now you will not deviate from the main problem in your MVP and start how will I put it now? There's another feature you mentioned on that snap cook. And start connecting users to local content, food content creators. When you've not even solved the first problem. Yes, connecting them to local creators is also awesome. But the main problem now is let them get the recipe because they've snapped their own ingredients, meaning they want to cook at home. So another problem will now be okay, they want to learn how to cook it. But that first problem of okay, you have yam, you have pepper, okay, conclusion you can cook porridge yam. So the app must not deviate from the main problem. That's the MVP must not deviate from the main problem. So you should always note that. So another one is build to learn. When you are doing your MVP, when you are building on your MVP, you have it in mind that you want to learn. You want to learn from the user. So you already have it in mind that okay, oh, this thing is just like let me launch it out so that I can get other people's opinion and feedback. So it's very important that you have it in mind that you are building this thing to learn. You are not building it to be a rigid person. You are not building it to say, yeah, your customers tell you, oh, how about, or you don't make the, there's this thing Teresa used to say about our banking app. Uh, Description not making it mandatory. I said, no, me, I'm going to make it mandatory. You don't want to change it. How about having a drop down for your description? You said no. That's not an MVP. So an MVP is built with the intention that it will change. So what an MVP is not? An MVP is not a full product. If you put all your features and you are saying that it's MVP, you want to later people can still suggest, people can send feedback. It is not an MVP because you have already built the entire product. So it is not an MVP. Another one is perfect. Your MVP cannot be perfect. Never. Your MVP it can never be perfect. So your MVP, they are your MVP is open to critics, is open to modifications. A lot of things, bugs will be there, like people will see things they are not okay with, you will fix bugs, you will modify things. So your MVP is perfect, and that's why you should not be afraid as program managers. Like we've said it so many times, program managers are not afraid to make mistakes, but they learn from their mistakes. That's the most important thing. You are not afraid to experiment. Oh, let's try option A. Option A failed us. Okay, no problem. You try another one. So do not be afraid to experiment. So your MVP is you are experimenting, you are testing the market, you are testing the waters. Don't be too what's it called on yourself now? Strict on yourself or be too hard on yourself when you fail, when things don't work the way it ought to. Your MVP is not perfect. There is Your MVP is not perfect. There's no perfect product, say. Products that type products keep iterating. Like they keep iterating the product because there's no perfect product. Your MVP is not future packed. You cannot build an MVP that have like 20 features and you're calling it MVP. That's a full packed product. You can't build an MVP with so many feature packed in. Ah, why is it now MVP? You have complicated the whole issue. It is no longer MVP. It's another thing. So your MVP needs to be simple. Don't forget that. You keep it short and simple. Not like you have 20 features. How many features is now the entire product? So always have this at the back of your mind. Know what MVP is. When you see something that is not an MVP, you know that this is not an MVP. You cannot call WhatsApp an MVP. WhatsApp has passed that level where they release the MVP. This is not MVP. You can think of, I don't know, let me MVP, the way I have products that are except new products. Yeah, except new products. But you cannot be seeing applications like TikTok, like WhatsApp, Instagram, and say that's MVP. Those ones that have future packed. No. New products. Most new products that are introduced into the market is usually the MVP, and as time goes on, they keep iterating. So when you have all these your products, your beautiful product ideas now, when you're shipping it to the market for the first time, though that's your MVP. When it has minimum features, when the features are just very few, straight to the point, solving the core problem. Your must have are the only things that are there. When it comes to your MVP, they are your must have that are without having this thing, the product will not be in shape. The product will not make sense if these things are not there. Removing that, then there's no need to have it. But if you look at the feature and look at the feature and say, if this feature is on this app, it will not make sense. Then that's your must to have. Then that is your MVP. But whatever it is that you think twice that if I remove this thing, can the product can still fly, Jerry. Then that's not an MVP. So MVP should focus on the important things, the smallest thing, the simplest form of your product first. That's what MVP will be. An example of MVP will be when WhatsApp just released the messaging. It was just messaging. Send message to this person, get instant reply. That was it. There was nothing like startup. There was nothing like, I'm not sure you can even turn off read receipts then. Say. There was nothing like share status. There was nothing like that. It was just purely messaging app. That's the MVP. It solved just one problem. And what's that problem? Problem of how will I put it now? Timely delivery of messaging to another. Rather than using SMS and you wait until the thing drop before the person start typing, send to you. This one now instantly as I'm dropping it, in as much as the data is up, is getting delivered to you. Once you are online, you are replying me. So it solved that. It focuses on that. It did not focus on boredom. Like, okay, oh, I want to put features that will allow people to be seeing what their day-to-day life looks like, updates. They didn't think of that at first because they focused on one main problem. Then later they came back to start addressing other problems that the customers might have. So they get customers feedback from that. There is WhatsApp beta version. That beta version is when you go to Play Store or App Store, you see it there. So that beta version is what if you download it now. So if WhatsApp is going to be launching a new feature, so it will first drop on that beta version so that users will use it, test it, and give their feedback. Then they will work using that feedback. And that's how MVP should also work. So here is an example here. You want to build a food delivery hub? See what the full products look like here. You want to have multiple restaurants that would integrate with the product so that as you are seeing food from what's it called? As you are seeing food from Chicken Republic, you are seeing food from the place, you are seeing another from which vendor do we have again? Kilimanjaro. You see different restaurants. You want to integrate with all of these restaurants. Another one is the product. You want users to have wallets whereby they can keep their money in the wallet, so they don't need to pay with their card. They fund directly from their wallet. They pay from their wallet. So you want promos. When you are doing promos, there's usually okay, use this code, use this, prices are reduced. Reviews, you want to get reviews. You want to also get trackings. I ordered my food 10:50. It will take the vendor 10 minutes to deliver. So all of these are put in place. So that's a full product. You cannot call this an MVP. It is not an MVP because it has solved so many problems. So that's what you should look at. So now, we now talk about MVP for this particular product now. Why restaurants? Remember, we are doing this product in order to learn. So one restaurant first. You just pick one restaurant, for instance, the place. Then future that will be there will be other food. Then receive confirmation. That is solving one main problem, which is problem of what is it called, accessing inaccessible to food. Now you want to get it delivered to you, want to order it to your doorstep. So integrate first with one restaurant, then add the functionality that says order food. You receive confirmation that okay, your food is being processed. Pam, that's your MVP. Later you can now start thinking, oh, after you've gotten feedback from customers, you can now start thinking of I want to integrate with more restaurant. Okay, I want to add tracking. Okay, I want, like, you can add as many as possible, but your MVP should be very simple. So if users order repeatedly, that means your idea is validated. Now you do this simple feature for your MVP. Now you not track customers order because you need confirmation. You are allowing the real users now to test your products for you. So now if the users now repeat their orders, that means yeah, it's solving their problem. They are coming back to order. Same customer that ordered yesterday came back to order next tomorrow, came back to order the following week. That means your ideas are validated. It's solving that problem that you want the customer to solve. So that's just an example of an MVP. You can see how it's being differentiated from a full product. So that when you see a full product, you know that no, this is a full product. This is this is an MVP. So I hope we understand this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so please somebody should also give us an example, just like this example I gave now. Give us an example of another product, what the full package of the product will be, and what the MVP should be. Anyone?
Hello. Good morning, ma.
Yeah, Chika, been a while. Good morning.
Yes, ma. I want to give an example, and it is Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
The simple MVP for Snapchat is just to take pictures and use filters, but the full grown package now, we use it to chat and we can post on our story, and there's even public and private story, and that's it, ma.
Awesome, awesome. What's the private story for? That means nobody will see it, except you.
No, for the people you have chosen to see it, like the public story, it's like being a public figure that Snapchat can post it on the main website that everyone can see it if by luck. But that public story, that what it stands at. So, but the private story, it's not everybody that you even added up as friends. You cannot choose the person, maybe like three people or five people. There's no limit to, but you can just choose people that you want to see that your story.
Oh, okay, okay. I got it. I got it. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks, Chika. Who else is helping us? Give us an example. It can be an existing product, too, like Chika said. So give us an example of the MVP, an example of the full product. Adedamola. You can also use the chat box if you're not able to speak at the moment. Example of a product MVP and what the full product will look like. I'm waiting. Adedamola, are you there? Since Adedamola has dropped that device. Alright. We'll proceed. We'll still come back to that though. We'll proceed. So now let's go to the common types of MVPs. So we have different types of MVPs. It's been interesting to know that I think we talked about we just briefly share. So yeah, we have different types of MVP. I'll start from the first one, the prototype MVP, clickable designs, Figma. So what's this trying to say? Now to test your MVP now, you can use Figma to take it down to your real users, the real customers now. But mind you, there's difference between what normal design, which is just Figma design. Now, the type of prototype we are talking about when it comes to prototype MVP is a clickable design on Figma, such that when you click on this sign up, you are able to no when you click on login for instance, you're taken to the next screen, the dashboard. So it's a clickable design, not like it's just static. So it's used to test the usability of an application. So you want to view the products and you want to look at how people are going to use it. So all you need to do is just like a mock-up of the app so that you are able to monitor how people uses the application. So it's a clickable one, it's not the one I just there stating. So an example would be like a mock-up of a savings application showing the goal creation. You're trying to build a saving application now. So you now do a clickable Figma design for it such that you're able to see like, oh, this is the when you create the goal, this is what it looks like. It's for you to get how people are trying to use it, interact with the system, interact with the product. That's the usability testing of that product. So another one that we have is the landing page MVP. Landing page, as the name implies, we know what landing page is. Like when you go to people's websites, the first place that you see when you click on their website, that's the landing page. Now, when we talk about the landing page MVP now, it's a simple page explaining the idea. On that page, you have the idea of the product is there. The product idea is there. You can even have like a user workflow on the landing page. And then you now see like, okay, for instance, you want to build a savings app, you now be like, oh, uh Lazy Enterprise is building a savings application. It helps you to create saving goals, save at your own pace. Okay, click here to register your interest, or you can just say click here to register your interest, or click here to sign up. So now it will help you to measure the number of people that showed interest or the number of people that sign up. That will show you that this product that you're trying to build, though, people will definitely use it if you have many sign ups saying that or many people, or there's another one that will say join the waiting list. So if number of people that click on this or people that show interest or register their interest is more, then this is you validating your product idea. Let's use our food vendor application that we talked about earlier this week. Now, you want to build a campus food vendor app now that allows students to order food. Now you've not started, but you want to do like an MVP. You want to like validate your solution. You are trying to validate your idea. What are you going to do? So you can just create like a simple website where you now like a landing page, you now tell them that okay, join the wait list. You've not built it to you now say join the wait list for campus food hub. So you now say how many people will join, how many people will register interest. So if you have many interest, that means yeah, people will definitely use your product. So it's basically you trying to get interest of people knowing okay, how many people showed interest, how many people click on register. So landing page MVP it's another type of MVP that you use to determine or validate your product. So we move on. We have the concierge MVP. So what does it mean? When we talk about concierge MVP now, we talk about manual work behind the scene, like using more of manual approach now. It will look like a product to the user, but it looks like a product to users, but there's kind of manual work behind the scenes. There's kind of manual work behind the scene in order to just understand the customers and check interest. For example, now we can like do a personal budgeting service. You can like, okay, you want to create a budgeting application, or you want to not even an application, you want to do a budgeting service for people. So what do? You now help them to be manually doing all of this budgeting manually via WhatsApp. So it will look like a product to them, but there is a manual work behind the scene. Rather than you trying to automate it first, you're trying to use manual effort to understand if they will really buy this your idea before you now start investing and spending money on it. So that's for the concierge MVP. Then we have another one we call the Wizard of Old MVP. Now, this is a type of MVP that appears like it is automated. Remember, we said concierge is manual. Now, this one appears automated, but in the real sense, it's not automated. It's not automated. There's a manual effort behind it. The other one, you already know that there's a manual work behind it too, but it looks like a product to you. But this Wizard of Oats MVP will appear automated, but it is not. So it helps you, the product manager, to test the demand. Like, how are people going to be demanding for this product? Are they really going to like this? So it's more of you trying to validate your idea. So an example is user trying to like, okay, think that AI recommends meals for them, but in the actual sense, it's woman that does that. So that's just an example. You like, oh, okay, hello, AI, can you please recommend what I'm going to eat this afternoon? Then you say, okay, you can take yam porridge, you can take jollof rice. So in your own mind, you're thinking that is AI that is recommending the food for you. But you don't know that there's a manual effort. It's a human that is doing that. So that's why it's called the Wizard of Oz MVP. So let's move on. Then we have another one, which is the single feature MVP. So this one has, just like the name implies, it has just one key feature, no extras. One key feature, no extras. Example will be a payment app that allows you to only send money, no extra. What you can do there is you can just send money, no bill payment, no cards, no receiving money, just use it to pay. That's all. Just use this thing, send money from A to B. That is all. It's just single feature MVP. For instance, let's use I love PDF as example. I love PDF can do a single feature MVP that allows you to simply convert your what's it called, your PDF to Word. No extras, no the other way round, no converting picture to Excel that they have now. Now they have a lot of things you can merge. You can, yeah, you can merge. You can convert pictures to Excel, you can convert Word back to PDF. So now they can do like a single feature, which is convert PDF to Word, no addition, no extras. That's what they call single feature MVP. And this single feature MVP only puts the main problem in place, the core feature. You cannot, like I said, in MVP, you cannot leave the main problem and start focusing on smaller problems. When you have a bigger problem, you face that bigger problem squarely. So that's what the single feature does. It does the core feature first. So your MVP will just be like, this is just the core feature, nothing more, no extra, no add-ons. For now, just this single feature MVP. So that's why it's called single feature MVP. Note that that feature, it's the important feature. Okay. All right. Any question before we move on? So let's look at the difference between MVP and a full product now. When we talk about MVP solves one core problem. It solves one core problem. It doesn't solve two core problems. It doesn't solve 10 major problems. It solves one core or major problem. But a full product now solves many problems. Look at the fintech application solving the problem of sending money, receiving money, card payment, account to account transfer, airtime top up, bill payment, data subscription. That's a full product. When you look at the likes of Opay, the likes of Kuda today, that's a full product. That's a full product. The MVP would have been when the initial start of the app, when the app was just to send, yeah, the app was to send and receive money. But now it has other features. In fact, recently I learned that with Kuda you can even have all of these fixed savings. You can have a savings account that you can always go, like you can even personalize it to any name you want. You can withdraw from it at any time, and you can even have a fixed deposit. So these are features that they introduced to the products after the MVP. So I'm very sure that when they started the MVP, there's nothing like that savings. There's nothing like savings. It's just for the purpose of sending and receiving money. So that's what differentiates an MVP from a full product. Another one is MVPs are built to learn. I mentioned this in our other slide. You build MVP in order for you to understand the market. You build MVP in order for you to learn from the real users. That's why you're building the MVP. You're building it for them. Let them interact with this product and come back to me. It's for you to learn. So, but full product is not to learn. Full product is built to scale. So you build it, then you can now scale up. That's the difference between MVP and full products. MVPs are simple and fast. You launch to the market quickly. The features are simple, it's not complicated, it's not difficult. You just do it, you keep it simple, and you launch to the market as fast as possible. But when it comes to full products, it is future rich. Like you have a lot of things that features that makes your product stand out. Necessary or unnecessary, used or unused features, you have a lot of features on it. You have a lot of features, just like you have Open now. Open has a lot of features. Can send their time. In fact, they've also started this savings group that okay. I remembered last year when Christmas was approaching, they said start saving for Christmas. And I was able to save for Christmas. Like, oh, you want to do play this Christmas? Okay, start saving. Depending on they've auto calculated it that okay, if you're saving 1,000 naira every day from now till 23rd, because they gave me the money 23rd. From now till 23rd, This is how much you're going to take. So if your budget is around 200k, this is how much you can save to achieve this. They lay all of these plans for you to be able to see. Then you chose the option that best fits you. So that's like it's rich in future. When this one that's I think Muslim festival be, yeah, I think it's Muslim festival is coming. Muslim fasting now. There's another thing I've seen there. Save, start saving for Eid al-Fitr. I was like, so like they have all of these exciting features and they keep adding to it every day. Like from the bank app, you can even bet. There's this a lot bet. I mean, what they even put there. You can, so it's future rich. You can activate your spend and save as you are spending. A certain percentage of money is going into your spend and save, and you can withdraw it at a particular time. If you want to break it, there's a breaking fee. Like a lot of features beyond the normal banking app that we used to know. And the same way that these digital banks are upgrading with their features, the other traditional banks are also trying to. They are trying to also meet up with all of these and also add to their own future. So yeah, when you talk about a full a full product, you're talking about future rich. It might not complete all the features because it might still have new features in the future. You might remove some, especially in an agile environment. But yeah, it's future rich. It has more than enough features. It has more than enough feature. An example are our typical fintech applications that we use on a daily basis. It has enough feature. But MVP is just the important feature that you see there. So another one, not perfect. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, MVP cannot be perfect, and do not beat yourself over mistakes or perfection. You cannot perfect your MVP. Even a full product, you cannot perfect it. Only try your best. So it is not perfect. It is open to corrections, critics, modifications. It is usually open to that. If you release an MVP to the market and no critics, no feedback, everything looks perfect. It is not an MVP. It is not an MVP. So an MVP is open to modification. But when it comes to full product is polished. Polished version. It's usually polished because it has enough features, so it's modified. It has been worked on because it's a full product. So you've polished it to the suits to the tastes of your customers. Okay, so now how to decide what goes into an MVP now? How do you decide what goes into an MVP when you are trying to work on an MVP? First, you need to look at what is the core problem. Like I said, every product has a core problem. This is the main problem. So look at the core problem. There's core problem. Your core problem is what will influence your core solution and your core feature. So let's do a quick uh a quick test now. Let's mention our everyday app. Then let's mention one core problem and what was a core feature that solved that problem. So who's going first? Who is going first? Are you with me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, ma.
Okay. So can you help us with the core everyday applications that we use? A core problem, then what the solution is. A core problem that is cited. Anyone?
Remember, could it be from existing products?
You say?
I said, can it be from existing products?
Yes, of course. Existing product, everyday app.
Okay, so a core problem is transferring money seamlessly without hassle, and it will be instant.
Okay, transferring money seamlessly is like a problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I see. So what's now used to solve that core problem now? What's the solution?
Solution is quick transfer. When you transfer money, you get the money instantly.
Hmm.
So instead of waiting for like 5 minutes before the money enter your account, then it's enter your account instantly.
Okay. So the core feature for that will now be instant transfer.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. 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 Thank you, everyone. Okay, who else is helping out? Another person. Chika Adedamola. Are we on the call?
Yes, ma.
Okay, do you want to try?
I was going to talk about a fintech app, but Abraham already talked about it.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I think you've talked about a social media app already. Okay, so let's proceed. So we should always look at what is the core problem. Look at it. What's up? The core problem was uh seamless delivery of message from one person to another, communication. So what's our bridge that problem by starting with okay messaging app, and as time goes on you could make calls with it, video calls, audio calls, and the likes. So now, what's the smallest solution that solves it? Now, this is another interesting thing about MVP. You do not need to look for a complex or a big solution that solves a problem. So look for the smallest solution possible that can solve this thing. Okay, people seamless transfer of money. Now to solve it now, ability to do instant transfer. You don't say, okay, people should not be transferring using card from card to this, first convert it. So you need to look for the simple one. So it's very important that you look for the simplest solution that solves the problem. It's very, very important. So that's how you decide what goes. You weigh your options. Okay, this is a problem. What are the solutions that can solve this problem? Don't go for the complicated ones. Go for the simple ones. The problem of let's use WhatsApp for instance now. Instant messaging. So instead of saying okay, instant messages now, let's go and look for a solution whereby uh people will start sending messaging, or you have to first of all connect with somebody, be friend to that person, like send a friend request first, just like we have on some other social media app. Send a friend request first. The person must accept before you can be able to send messaging. That's a complex solution. So why not, like, okay, just in as much as you have a person's phone number, then you're able to message the person. The message goes through. As simple as that. So when you're thinking of what's going to the into your MVP, think of what's the core problem, the major problem, the main, what the main problem is. Then what's the simplest solution ever? Weigh your solutions. Go for the simplest one that I know that this one is simple. Then what can we remove and still learn? So you know what you are building, you can look at it. Okay, if I remove sign up, will I still able to learn? Will I still able to learn from my users? If I remove read receipts, will I still be able to learn from my customer? So if the answer is yes, then remove it. You don't have to complicate your MVP. It should not be overly complicated. So think of it as, what's the core problem? What's the simplest solution? And what can you remove that you don't even feel it? So the rule here is, if removing feature doesn't affect learning, remove it. Don't think twice about it. If you remove a feature and it doesn't affect your learning, that is, it doesn't affect the feedback you get from customers, ability for you to validate your ideas, ability for you to see how your product is faring, then don't think twice. Remove that feature. You can add it in later features, but your MVP, remove it. So that's the only way you can know what goes into an MVP, so that you do not say, this one good, this one good. At the end of the day, you end up building a full packed product. So remove anything that would not stop you from learning. You know that the intention is to learn. Why you are building it is to learn from customer. So if there is anything at all that will not stop you from learning, then it's best you remove it. So yeah, that's it about minimum viable products for today. So now let's attempt this class activity, which is, you choose a product idea, you list the core problem, the full future, and the MVP feature. I know that Chika has attempted this already. Chika has attempted this. So for those of us that have not attempted, Adedamola and Abraham, let's attempt this class activity. Adedamola, your mic is unmuted. Saida Mola Lawan, attend the class activity. And before that, do we reach out to our accountability partner?
I did. She's not because it's the month end, so she's trying to cover up some things in work at work. So
Oh,
that's why she like no join. That's
oh,
matter.
okay, all right, thanks. Chika and Adidamola. And has anybody heard from Torisechu?
No, I've not.
Tore Seju is in camp. That's why she's not been joining NYC.
Oh, okay, wow, wow. All right, oh, that's great. Okay, thank you. So Adidamola, where's your accountability partner?
I don't know. I think he's at work.
Okay, you don't know. You did not message him. Adedamola.
I texted him yesterday, oh, and he said, um, like he couldn't join yesterday's class because he was in the meeting. So I didn't even bother to text him today.
Oh,
Because that means he's in a meeting or something again.
well, you should have at least tried to test him next time. Chika.
My accountability partner came online today and we do communicate.
Who is that?
So for me,
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. I noticed yesterday that we did 12. We were like looking for persons to join the call. That's why I said, okay, 10 seems in the morning it was still like everybody, our brain is still fresh. Okay, let's just have it. But yeah, but let's always try to communicate with the accountability partner on time that there is meeting. So yeah, okay, no problem. So attend the class activity so that we can move on from here.
I want to ask, can we use one of those ones that we used for um, previous class activity?
Of course, of course.
All right. So my product idea is Snapbook. Okay. So Snapbook is AI powered application that allows you to generate recipes based on the photos of ingredients that you snapped uh,
Sorry,
for younger map.
can you come again? I wasn't hearing you well.
So the product idea is the name of the product idea is Snapbook.
Okay.
Is Snapbook is an AI powered application that allows you to generate recipes based on what you have at home, based on what you snapped or typed in the chatbot, especially for students and young adults. So, what are the core problems? The core problems are to reduce decision fatigue. You don't know what to cook, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to cook at the moment. So it reduces that. It's also reduce food wastage. Also budget constraints. Like I said, students don't usually have plenty things at home that they want to cook. So the only options that they have, if they snap it, should be able to generate something. So budget constraints and also time. It reduces time wastage for someone that wants to go to work in the morning, um, looking for what to cook and thinking about what to cook. If you just snap the ingredient you have at home, the AI will give you some of the things that you need. So it reduces time wastage, budget constraints, and also it reduces food wastage. Overall, it reduces decision fatigue. So, what are the food product features? Food product features are AI visual recognition, um, personalized dietary profiles, smart grocery integration, and also yeah, those are the three main features, the full product features, visual recognition of the food that you snapped. Then it will now give you um smart to give you groceries and recipes. It will provide recipes based on the things that you snapped, and also um okay, yeah, visual recognition, personalized dietary profiles, grocery integration. Because if you don't have a particular um if you don't have a particular ingredients, it tell you that you need this particular ingredient to make it better, things like that. So what is the MVP? I'm coming now. So the MVP will be to snap the products, and then it will now generate the um recipe, and then it also give you the option of typing. If you cannot snap it, probably you don't have a good camera like that, or you just cannot snap. Probably it's dark and there's no light, and also it allows you to save the product that you have, the things that you have at home. So that's the MVP.
All right. Thank you so much. So it's basically uploading or uh inputting of the ingredients. That's the main MVP for this product, which is the core. It's trying to solve the core problem. That's the core solution. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, Adedamola. Or any question for Abraham on that? But yeah, I love that.
So my own product is SwiftPay. It's a fintech app.
Okay.
The core problem is when users want to like send money in 10 seconds. They don't want anything that is going to like stress them. They want an app that is easy to navigate, and transactions are like at least 98% successful. So that's the problem. Then the full product features, the app is going to have the send money feature, pay bills, um, transaction history, um, dark mode um, or light mode, save the beneficiary, pay with card, and all those things. So the MVP features only would be, of course, send money, and then view transaction history, then login.
Okay. Send money. So the core feature here is the send money because obviously to have login, the
Yes.
transaction is free. Okay, that works. Awesome. Well done. What else is helping us? Chika, you want to give us another example?
No,
Okay. All right. So that's awesome. That's awesome from us. So let me show us this. This is the assignment that we're going to do on MVP. So we're going to design an MVP. First, we choose a product idea and submit the product idea and problem just like we've done here. The target users. So this thing should not be hard because these are things that we've done some of those things. Then the core assumptions to test. So that at getting your feedback, you're testing this. And I remember this core assumption is part. of the teaser assignment. Then the MVP type choosing and why. I told you that we have about 4 or 5 MVP types that we talked about: the concierge, the landing page, the wizard O's, the prototype. So depending on the one, which one are you choosing? Tell me why you're choosing it. Then what are the features that you want to include in your MVP? Then what does success looks like? Remember that example that I gave us, that I said if there are repeated orders for the food vendor, then that's success. So you have to tell what success looks like. That's the success metric, eh? Then what you will learn from this MVP. What do you intend to learn from this MVP? Remember that every MVP at the back of your mind, you are building it, or you are shipping in this MVP in order for you to learn. So what you will learn from this MVP matters. Any question on this? Any question? Do we understand the assignment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're going to submit this next week soon. All right, so let's drop the link to our Tuesday assignment so that we can review before we end the class. So you can drop the link on the chat box. You can drop it on WhatsApp. Yeah, link to the assignment, please. We didn't do the assignments. Let me know if we did not do it though.
Ma, I did it. I'll soon drop the link.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, Adedamola, you did it too. Abraham. So I'm waiting for the link. Okay, I've seen Adedamola link. This. Okay. Okay. Discovery method. Discovery. Okay. I'll be sharing this. Share this. Can we see the assignment now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is it. Identifying the real user's problem for SwiftPay based on research into common fintech usage in Nigeria and early users review the following real problems to identify. Failed and delayed transfers. Okay. International transfer marked as spending on failed. Okay. That's valid. Funds may be debited without immediate confirmation. Okay. Causes anxiety, especially for urgent payment. Okay. And some might even like double transfer safe while trying to wait So that's another problem again. Duplicate transactions. Now, problem two, poor transaction visibility. Users do not clearly understand transaction status. Limited information on why transaction failed or how long reversal will take. Complicated user experience. Too many steps to complete a simple transfer. Overloaded interface with unnecessary features. Problem 4, weak customer support. Slow, non-existent response from support. Okay. So now the target users are university, NYC core members, freelancers, salary earners. Secondary users are the small business owners, online vendors, and POS agents. So users' characters, mobile first users frequently perform bank transfer, then value, speed, reliability, and ease of use. Assumption user prefers to spend reliability over advanced feature. User prefers speed, okay, and reliability, okay. A simple user interface will increase adoption and retention. Hmm. Transparent transaction status will build users' trust. Now, how do you validate your idea before you build it? Shift pay idea will be validated using problem validation, solution validation, and market validation. Problem validation. You conduct interview with students, freelancers, and small business owners. Ask about recent payments, failures, and frustrations. Okay, you're going to do a one-on-one interview, I guess. At least 70% of user reports evidence criteria. Frequent issues with speed and failed transfer. Users express emotional frustration and financial impact. Solution: build a low fidelity prototype. Okay. Test call flow, sender money, viewing transaction status, and contacting support. Yeah. Evidence criteria: 80% of users successfully complete key tasks without help. Users rate the solution as easy or very easy to use. Market validation: release a closed beta, then measure real users' behavior. Evidence criteria now is going to be transaction success rate greater than or less than 90, greater than or equals to 95%. Hmm. So your evidence-based decision now, go decision, swiftly proceed to full MVP development if core problems are confirmed by majority